What's going on, guys? It's Steve. Welcome back to our channel. Before we start our video, real quick, I just want to again mention our website, mousesecrets.com, your home for all of your matching Disney t-shirt needs. We've got super cool bright colored tie-dyes like the one I'm wearing in this video, as well as like super cool bright colored solid shirts as well. And the cool thing is, right now we're offering free personalization. So what that means is, if you want to add your name, for example, to the front of the shirt, we can do that, as well as on the back of the shirt, we can do that too. Or if you want to add your family name, or maybe you're celebrating in a special occasion down here, we can do that as well. So what I'll do is I'll leave a little segment at the end of this video that explains how to go to mousesecrets.com, how to place your order, and if you want to personalize them, how to enter that personalization into the website as well. All right, guys, thanks to all the new subscribers out there too. Want to say that. If you're new to the channel, it's a great time to click the little subscribe button down below. Now, let's get this video started. On with the show. What's going on, guys? It is Steve, and today's video is a little bit different. I want to give my honest review, my honest opinion of Galaxy's Edge, of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Me and Susanna, we finally had a chance to check it out for ourselves. We were lucky enough to have access to the annual pass holder Galaxy's Edge preview. We went this past Sunday, so I just wanted to kind of discuss what I thought of Galaxy's Edge, what my feeling, what my vibe was from it. So here we go. Let's talk Galaxy's Edge. So I want to start off by saying that, and I've mentioned this before, but in case if this is one of your first times watching one of my videos, I'm not the biggest fan of Disney Star Wars, just being honest. So I just want to put that out there right now. I'm a huge Disney fan in general. I love the parks. You guys know that. We vlog the parks. We cover the parks, from our dining reviews to our theme park review videos, etc. But when it actually comes to Disney Star Wars, I'm just not the biggest fan of it. Just not. You know, the story for me hasn't been great. The sequel trilogy story, I'm not into it. I don't like the way that the legacy characters were handled. I'm just not a fan of it. You know, y'all know there's a lot of controversies and stuff involved in the sequel trilogy. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So basically, you're kind of getting a review from somebody that's a huge fan of the original trilogy, that grew up on that original trilogy, a little bit later in life, really became involved with the prequels. I don't hate the prequels. I actually like them. I think, you know, visually, maybe they don't look as cool on screen as I would have liked with all the CGI and stuff. But you know what? Like, the George Lucas storytelling is there, and the story, to me, it flows great with the original trilogy. Therefore, I love the prequels too. I'm a big fan of the prequels. But anyway, so let's talk Galaxy's Edge. So, I don't know. It was, where should we even start? Okay, let's just start with the overall impression of Galaxy's Edge. It's awesome. It looks fantastic. It's the attention to detail is ridiculous. You know, whether you're looking at the aging of the buildings, how they made the buildings look like they're aged, and trying to create this atmosphere that you're on in another universe, on another planet or something, and that, you know, it's not. The aging of the buildings is really cool. The way the buildings look is really cool. The land itself looks interesting. I don't know, for me personally, that it feels very Star Wars-ish when I see the land, especially in the daytime. And that's one thing I want to say right there. I think like Galaxy's Edge is almost like two parks, a night park and a day park. And for me personally, I think the nighttime effect is so much cooler. During the day is when we got there. We got there, I think it was around 5 o'clock. And it has more of a, it looks like it kind of reminds me of like a Middle Eastern city. I think I said that in our vlog, but it almost has like like the Moroccan pavilion over World Showcase at Epcot. It kind of has, that feel to it a little bit. Like when you're walking through like the Black Spire Outpost where all the shops and stuff are, it almost kind of feels like you're walking through like a Middle Eastern bazaar or something. And maybe that's kind of the feel that they were going for. But I think I had said in the vlog, like I feel like, for me, for it to really feel like Star Wars, I wanted to have that feeling of more like a Death Star or like space or Naboo or something, you know. And it doesn't feel like Tatooine, so it doesn't feel like a desert planet. I don't feel like I'm in a desert. It really has its own feel to it. I don't feel like that land really harkens back feel-wise to any of the original or prequel trilogy land or environments or worlds that we were exposed to in the original trilogy and prequel trilogy. It's definitely its own thing, so I'll say that. Now, at nighttime, the effect is totally different. I feel like it felt much more like Star Wars, and I think that had to do with possibly the way they light this land. This land is lit with, I mean, the lighting is really cool. It's got like the reds and the blues, which kind of gives you that lightsaber-ish kind of, almost a little bit of J.J. Abrams there, because I think of like The Force Awakens and that J.J. Abrams classic like lighting or whatever, using the colors. So and I'm just thinking about that. It kind of has like a J.J. Abrams lighting effect feel, but it feels like Star Wars at night. Let's talk about one obvious thing I noticed, and one of the things that hit me right off the bat, or hit me at the beginning when we first entered Galaxy's Edge, started walking around. There's kind of a weird sound, and what I mean by that is there's you hear the chatter and the talking of guests, because obviously there's people there, so you're going to hear people talking. What you don't hear is Star Wars, and what I mean by that is there's no soundtrack, and I'm sure a lot of you guys already know that or whatever, that this land does not have the Star Wars soundtrack. But in my opinion, I've always said this, from going way back, I've always said for years, like, yes, Darth Vader is the most important character in my opinion, in most people's opinion, to Star Wars, along with Luke Skywalker or something. I've always felt like kind of like Leia and Han are more kind of like sidekicks. Some people might get upset when I say that, but I really, once the prequels came out, I really felt like Darth Vader is the central figure to Star Wars. Anakin is the central figure to Star Wars. Luke fulfills what Anakin was supposed to do, bring the balance of the Force, so forth. Now, Disney Star Wars has taken it and kind of thrown that away or tossed that around a little bit, but that's another story. But where I'm going with this is, I've always felt like Darth Vader, Anakin, most important character, along with Luke. Really, though, the most important character, and really, if you really get down to it, in my opinion, in Star Wars is the soundtrack, the music, what John Williams created, the gorgeous, like, cinematic music of Star Wars. And I don't know, I've seen one time before, someone did an edited video, like, where they do the end of A New Hope when Han, Luke, and Chewie are going to get their medals from Princess Leia. And they re-edited it where they removed the music. They removed the classic John Williams score from that scene. And it just totally kills the whole scene. Like, it's almost like, it makes you laugh, like it's kind of silly. And you can say that for a lot of movies if you remove the score. But definitely for Star Wars, if it does not have the John Williams soundtrack, the classic music, the Imperial March or whatever, it's not Star Wars in my opinion. Like, it's weird or something. So I understand they don't want to use movie soundtracks and stuff inside the Galaxy's Edge, I guess, for to make the land feel more authentic, like you really are at Black Spire Outpost or on Batuu, this planet that we're not familiar with. But I personally feel like had they added some of the musical elements of John Williams, the most important character really in Star Wars, the soundtrack, it would really give it a much more Star Wars feel. And I understand from the reviews I've been reading up until when we finally got to go on Sunday is people that have been going, for example, in Disneyland, their complaints were it does not feel enough like Star Wars. And I think one of those big issues is not having the John Williams score. I don't know how hard or how big of a deal it is to add that, whether there's, copyright issues and, that type of thing that Disney runs into, and that's why they haven't put it there. But Star Wars needs to have a score. Needs to. I mean, it's just what Star Wars is. Most people, when a new movie comes out, one of the first things that people always talk about is, how good was the score to this episode of Star Wars? Was this one as good as the previous? And yada, yada, yada. It's pretty important to Star Wars fans to have that soundtrack. And being that it's not at Black Spire Outpost or on Batuu, that kills, for me at least, the Star Wars feel a little bit, if not a lot. Like, yeah, here's the thing. So, let's talk to the attraction, Smugglers Run. When we were in line and in the queue for Smugglers Run, by far one of the coolest, most themed queues I've ever been in. But again, all you hear is the chatter of other people talking. And it kind of sucks you back out of the immersion of the queue. Whereas like, I feel like if there was a soundtrack playing and a score of music to kind of cover up the audio of other guests talking, nothing wrong with talking, because I was as loud talking too. But if there was a score that could cover up that chatter, it would really, I think, really complete the immersion of like being in the queue for Smugglers Run. So that's one thing. The score. I feel like the park is too quiet, it's too silent, and therefore I hear too much of other guest chatter. I just don't hear anything at all, like a dead silence. Because actually when we were at the pass holder preview, I mean, it wasn't crowded, and at some point, I mean, you didn't even see a person, especially at night. Like it was quiet when there was nobody around. So that's one thing. Another issue I had with Galaxy's Edge would be Smugglers Run. Okay, Smugglers Run, extraordinarily themed ride. It has that wow factor when you're walking, like I said, through the queue. When you actually enter the Millennium Falcon, feels very cool. It looks like you're in a movie set. But there's something missing. I think what's missing is, again, there's no Han Solo, there's no Chewbacca, there's no Lando. When I, as an older school Disney Star Wars fan, think of the Millennium Falcon, I think of those guys or those characters. These legacy characters. What are the words I'm trying to say? These legacy iconic characters. Han, Luke, Lando, Leia, but none of them are involved in anything at Star Wars Land or Galaxy's Edge, but especially in the Millennium Falcon. Instead, you have Holdo. Oh, yeah, John, I remember his name correctly. Holdo? And he is the, what is he? He's from Star Wars Rebels. He's from the cartoon, the Rebels, Disney Star Wars Rebels. I don't know much about him. I remember like he was in an episode or two, but I don't even remember like what his deal was. But he's kind of like coordinating your movements through Smugglers Run, or he's coordinating the attraction. He's kind of like he's a host of the attraction. Actually, yeah, that's the correct term. He's the host of the attraction. Now, there's a little bit of Chewbacca in there, but Chewbacca's kind of universal now with the old movies and the new movies. So I don't know that you can really count Chewbacca so much at this point as being an iconic legacy character being moved into the sequel trilogy character lineup or something. But Smugglers Run, to me, would just be that much cooler if it actually involved Han Solo. If it just involved Han. Or instead of Holdo talking to us, like an animatronic Han Solo speaking to us while we're in line, I mean, that would have been crazy. That just would have been so awesome. And maybe the actual video projection inside of the attraction itself, number one, that's another issue I had. Like it's all digitalized, it's all computerized, CGI, very, very video game-ish looking. I see where some people were complaining, saying that they felt like Smugglers Run felt like a video game, like on steroids, like a Disney Quest, you pilot the plane type of ride or something. I definitely could see that. It has that feel. It would have been cooler if the film inside of Smugglers Run maybe was actually not CGI or not digital or whatever, animated, but it was actually like realistic sets or something. Maybe it just would have had a cooler feel or something like that. Yeah, the film itself in Smugglers Run is kind of And I talked to Suzanne about it after we left the attraction. I said, we wrote it twice, by the way. We wrote it twice. We wrote it as a pilot and an engineer. And I said, do you actually remember the film? Like after riding it 2 times, like what was the film in the attraction? And neither one of us have any idea. I don't know. Whereas like with, let's think, Animal Kingdom, Flight of Passage, world-renowned attraction, quite possibly always considered by a lot of people now one of Disney's greatest theme park attractions ever. Not at World, not at Land, but all over, like one of the #1 attractions. That film, I can tell you essentially like frame for frame, like what's happened, what goes on in that film. Same thing for maybe like Soarin'. Like I know the Soarin' film very, very well, but Smugglers Run, I don't know any of it. I didn't grip any of the film, and I think that could have something to do with the ride is so rough and shaky. I mean, for new technology, what's really cool is like when you think of like new roller coasters and stuff, is how smooth they are compared to roller coasters that were built in the early mid 90s and going back, how rough they were and jerky. Whereas like new roller coasters are nice and smooth and gentle. Smugglers Run is rough. It is a jerky ride where like, it actually had me laughing because it was just whipping me around, whipping us around so hard. I almost couldn't I couldn't focus on the film. I couldn't focus on the film because it was jerking so hard, I think. And the film was not, it didn't look nice. The film just didn't look nice. It didn't capture it didn't capture me the way like the film for Flight of Passage does, or the way Soarin' does. This film just didn't have that. And if you ask me right now, what was the film about? I don't know. I have no idea. So it would have been cool maybe for Smugglers Run to have incorporated original trilogy Han Solo. Maybe with him doing banter with Chewbacca. Maybe Lando is involved somehow. And actually, if the film itself, we're set to something more of the original trilogy. But hey, that's what I like. I like the original trilogy. So I'm going to lean in that direction. But overall, though, there is something they're missing in Smugglers Run. I think it has to do with the film, because the queue is cool. I can get over Holdo kind of hosting the attraction, whatever. I can even kind of get over like not having the original trilogy characters, although it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because those Star Wars icons are really tied to the Millennium Falcon, because the Millennium Falcon is an original trilogy icon in itself. But whatever, maybe Disney probably has their reasons for why they didn't incorporate it in there. But the film itself, I think there's something fundamentally wrong with the Smugglers Run film. It's just too hard to focus on or something. I don't know. I don't remember it even after writing it twice. And I'm recording this on Wednesday, so it's only been a couple days since I was there to ride it. Overall, the land. The more I thought about it, if I had to digest this now for a couple days, I wanted to wait before I made this video. I really wanted to just kind of let it all sink in, let it all kind of come into frame about my real opinion on Galaxy's Edge. Overall, it's cool. It's interesting. It feels like a movie set. It actually feels like a movie set, and maybe that's why it's in Hollywood studios. It belongs in Hollywood studios for that reason. And what I mean by it feels like a movie set, I mean that it's the perfect place to take photographs or film video, which is what we do. We take a lot of photos, we film a lot of video, we share our content on YouTube and on Facebook and in our Facebook groups and other social media and etc. So it's great for us, but it's almost like it was built for that reason. So, if you want to see the Millennium Falcon, you can take the most gorgeous pictures of the Millennium Falcon. Or if you want to take pictures of the spires of Black Spire Outpost, am I saying that right? Like the spires, the rocks, the rockwork. It looks gorgeous on video. It looks gorgeous on film. Or the different Star Wars spacecraft, taking pictures of those, or the droids that are on display. Everything is like behind themed fencing, so you can't actually touch it or interact with it, but you can take awesome pictures of it. You can really you could film a film inside of Galaxy's Edge, I think. You could film like a Star Wars film. I wouldn't be surprised if Disney does something like that, like a 15-minute little film or something. But what I mean by that is, so it feels like a movie set, which is cool, but in the same sense, it's not cool. And what I mean would be I don't feel like I'm in Star Wars. I feel like I'm at a movie set that's filming Star Wars. Whereas, let's compare it to Universal. Let's compare it to Harry Potter. At Harry Potter Land, or the Wizarding World, Diagon, I don't feel that. When I go to Harry Potter, I don't feel like I am at a movie, watching a movie set, or among a movie set, or at a movie set. I feel like I'm in the world, the Wizarding World. I feel like I've stepped into Harry Potter. I feel like I am there. I remember going with a friend one time, a couple of years ago, to Diagon Alley right after it opened, and they looked up at one of the, I guess you would call a flat. I guess they're flats. Yeah, flats inside of Diagon Alley, one of the decorative flats, or scene pieces. Let's say that, scene piece flats. And he said, God, I wish I could just rent one of those and live there or something. And I think that says a lot, where when you're at Harry Potter Land, or the Wizarding World, whatever you want to call it, Harry Potter Land for this video, you feel like you've actually stepped into London, or you've stepped into the Wizarding World. You're no longer in Universal Studios, or you're not on a movie set that's making the next Harry Potter film. You actually feel like you are in the world. You've actually entered the Harry Potter universe. Whereas with Galaxy's Edge, I don't feel like I've stepped into the Star Wars universe. I feel like I've stepped into a Star Wars film production. I don't know, like a movie set. It feels like a movie set. I think there's a difference there. Yeah, that's a big difference for me. Even Smugglers Run, I could almost say like the attraction itself, it feels like a movie set. Like when you're sitting down, or when you enter the Millennium Falcon and before they call you to go to actually enter the attraction, the cockpit. So there's that holding area, which looks like you're inside of the Millennium Falcon, like where the game is, where Luke Skywalker is learning the Force with Obi-Wan and New Hope and so forth. That feels like a movie set too, just sitting here thinking about it. Like it feels like someone could pull out the camera, start filming with a boom mic, and we could record the movie. So that's weird. I know that's kind of hard to wrap your mind around what I'm getting at, but there is something different. It's very immersive, but immersive in a different way. Immersive in like that you could film a movie there, whereas I don't feel like at the Wizarding World I would film a movie there. I feel like I might just live there. Whereas at like Black Spire Outpost, I feel like I'm in a movie. One other thing that I noticed that's weird, and I noticed something I'm really bashing about. I'm just giving, again, this is my honest opinion. You may disagree with it, which is great. We all have our own opinions. But another thing that I thought was kind of weird, or not weird, but a little bit. We don't know the story of Batuu. We don't know the story of Black Spire Outpost. Now, maybe you do through some comic books or some books or extra outside reading outside of the movies. But when it comes to the movies themselves, which is where I tend to stick around, there's no mention of it yet. Not yet. I say yet because we have another Star Wars movie coming in a few months. But as of right now, we don't know what it is. So there's no story there for me yet. And they do have a couple roaming characters. There's one character, and I don't even know the character's name. I have no idea. But I knew she was a character because I've seen some other people's vlogs from like Anaheim or whatever, where they said that, this is the character or something. Like I've read it maybe on Twitter or something, so I knew what to look for. But if you do not know what to look for, if you're not a Disney nerd like myself or like some of you guys watching this video, you would not know, like the average tourist, what you're looking for or who you're looking for. So when I saw her, I knew like to approach her and kind of, get a little banter and play and so forth with the character and so forth. But what I noticed was a lot of other people walked right past this character, didn't even acknowledge this character. And I think it's because they don't even realize it is a character. They didn't know she was a character. They don't know because she's not in the movies. And Galaxy's Edge doesn't tell you that there's a story. Like there's no book like, here, read this book before you enter our land or something. Or, I don't know. Like, so people recognize, obviously, there's a couple of roaming stormtroopers, which Hollywood Studios has always had in different aspects. So people approach the stormtroopers or they see the stormtroopers. There was one guy dressed as like I was going to say Imperial, but First Order garb. He had his First Order clothing on. So, you can't miss that guy. And he's, he was taking some photos and interacting with people a little bit, kind of hanging out where Kylo Ren's ship is in Galaxy's Edge. But, yeah, that was one thing. Like the roaming character thing, it was kind of weird. It's just kind of weird. Like there was Rey. I'm not a fan of that character, I'm not gonna lie. Some of you guys are, sure. I'm not. So seeing Rey, I thought the character was kind of weird. It just she wasn't really doing anything, just kind of walking around. She would go up to children. So obviously she was interacting with children. I saw her at one point, she was petting somebody's service animal, which was kind of cool, but I don't know exactly what she was doing. Like, she just kind of walks around. I don't know. I guess for me, if you had like a Darth Vader, I keep going back to Vader because that's what I know. If you had Darth Vader walking around Galaxy's Edge, people are going to be like, oh wow, there's Darth Vader, or there's Han Solo walking over there, Luke Skywalker's out, or there's an Ewok, or look, there's a Yoda. But when it would get excitement, people would want to go over there and see these characters. And heck, if I saw Yoda, I want to go see Yoda. Especially if it's like a little talking Yoda, how cool would that be? But when I see Rey, I'm just like, all right, there's Rey. Let's go on over to Smugglers Run or something. It doesn't draw me in. It doesn't draw in a lot of people. We're trying to get down to why Galaxy's Edge. What are the flaws with Galaxy's Edge? Because there's flaws. Disney admits it. They're what am I trying to say? Their financials. their financial statements admit it. I mean, park attendance was down. Galaxy's Edge attendance is down in California. We don't know about what's going to be like here yet. But so when we're sitting here, we're trying to look at what could be some of the issues. So that's an issue. Like the characters that are presented at Galaxy's Edge, most people don't know, or most people aren't interested in meeting or talking to or interacting with. But really, there's an issue where there's no story at Galaxy's Edge, so nobody knows that that character is actually a character, and that's just not somebody walking around that bought a jacket or something. Like I said, I would have never known if it were not for seeing someone else's, either on Twitter or YouTube or something. But yeah, the character interaction, kind of weird. Oga's Cantina, cool. Enjoyed kind of going in there. It's very expensive. You're going to spend money. It's stressful. It's chaotic. You're pack. If you see it in our vlog. By the way, I'll leave that vlog in the cards up here. Whichever side, I'm confused right now. But one of these sides, you'll see a card for our vlog at Galaxy's Edge. But Oga's Cantina, it's definitely not going to feel like Mos Eisley's spaceport. I think I said in the vlog, to me, it feels like what I envision, and I can't remember again, in Attack of the Clones, when Anakin and Obi-Wan have to track down Padme's assassin. They go to that club/bar in Attack of the Clones to try to find her, the assassin. To me, it looks like that. It kind of has that same feel and everything, color-wise. So it's interesting. Oga's Cantina is interesting. But that's about it. The shopping, I wasn't overwhelmed with. I wasn't. Yeah, the shopping was fair. You have the weird shop that sells the weird plushes. They're weird plushes of our classic Star Wars characters. They're as if the children in this sequel trilogy made in little Boba Fett's or little Jabba the Hutts or something, or little Luke Skywalkers or Lando Calrissians. They stitch together these little toys or stuff kind of plushes. That's what I think they're going with those. I don't know. I don't want that. That's it's just not cool. I guess it's missing the cool factor for me. That is definitely. I'm trying to think. They've got the Star. Now here they have the Jedi robes. They've got the Sith-looking robes. You've got Princess Leia's outfits, her hairdress, and all that type of stuff. You got the lightsabers. Expensive. You're going to spend money for those. Even okay, so in case if you guys don't know, I'm just thinking about this, since you may not know. If you want to do this, what is it, Savi's, I didn't even go in there, the workshop to build a lightsaber, which I think is kind of weird anyway. But if you wanted to do that, you're looking at over $200 to build one lightsaber, and you can only take one guest in to build your one lightsaber. So not a lot of fun for a family of 4. But then if you want to buy a legacy lightsaber, which they look pretty interesting. I mean, I tested one out in the vlog. You can buy one of those. They're about, I don't know, around $130, $140, somewhere in that range. Still pricey, but I mean, saves you money versus going through the process of building one, and you don't get that experience of building one. Yeah, the weird thing though, like I said, I didn't participate obviously in building a lightsaber, but I have watched other people's YouTube videos and reviews on the building of a lightsaber, and it just doesn't look cool to me. Maybe for the new generation, for you new guys out there, that's kind of your thing or something, but I hear the Yoda voice talking and stuff, but I think one thing to remember is a lot of us that are big fans of the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, we actually like the dark side. The dark side was very cool to us. There was something there was this cool thing about the dark side. So if I want to get a lightsaber made, maybe I want to get my lightsaber made with the Emperor. I don't know, I don't know, building lightsabers is kind of weird anyway, in the sense that I don't remember in the movies, do we actually really watch them build lightsabers? I don't feel like we did, right? No. So it's something that's introduced, obviously, as kind of a marketing thing for Disney to get you to come in and build your lightsaber and buy your lightsaber. But the experience overall, it's not within the movies. It's something different. And I would rather have, if I'm going to build a lightsaber, I would like some options. Maybe I want to build one, maybe I want to build my dark side or my Sith saber, or whatever you want to call it, Sith lightsaber, with Count Dooku. Or I want to do it with the Emperor, or I want to do it with Anakin, I don't know, Vader or something. So yeah, that whole thing doesn't interest me. But if you want to buy a legacy lightsaber, you can do that. It's a little bit cheaper. Yeah, they make, I guess, like good wall props if you want to hang it on a wall and, you know, it's decoration or something. Yeah, I guess the young kids would play with them a little bit. I don't know how well they would hold up with, you know, with kids really swinging them around and hitting them and stuff. I don't know. They might take a beating. I don't know. Maybe not. But, you know, the Droid Depot thing doesn't interest me. I'm not interested in making a droid. I saw other people building them. They're just kind of these little small, they just look kind of small. And again, it's one of those things, like once I got back home with it, I don't know what I would do with it. Droid Depot, not for me. Building the lightsaber, not for me. Buying a lightsaber, actually the one that I did play with, the Legacy lightsaber, or hold and turn on, you'll see it in the vlog, was the Darth Maul lightsaber. Because I'm a Darth Maul fan, I don't know, like, he's probably one of the cooler Sith Lords or whatever. And his lightsaber was always very cool, the double-sided lightsaber. I might buy something like that, maybe one day in the future, just as to have as like a decoration in the house or something. But, you know, so essentially going to Smugglers Run and going to Galaxy's Edge, having the option to build a lightsaber, build a droid, buy merchandise, the one attraction Smugglers Run, some interesting character interactions that may not make sense to you unless you're really a Star Wars nerd and you've been kind of following the Batu story. It feels like a movie set more than like you're in the world. You feel like more like on a movie set or a photo shoot than you're in the world. I think those are some of the issues with Galaxy's Edge. That's just my opinion. Yeah, I love Disney. I love what Disney does. I think they built a really cool land. I think the land is very cool. It looks cool. But when we're trying to talk about it on the level of Star Wars, they build an actual Star Wars world that you can enter this Star Wars universe and have crazy Star Wars experiences. I got it right now no, I gotta say no. I think that's why it's having its issues. Now, when it fully opens, or when it totally opens to the public, or when it opens to the public, I should say, here in Orlando on August 29th, it's gonna be busy. You know, Walt Disney World's a different animal from California, from Disneyland. People come here on 4-day, 5-day vacation packages. They buy their multi-day tickets. So when you come to when you come to Hollywood Studios, you're going to go to Galaxy's Edge. It would not make sense for someone to come to Hollywood Studios like let me back this up. People come to Disney World because they want to come to Disney World. So, you know, it's international tours. So when they come to Hollywood Studios, it's not that they have to be Star Wars nerds going to Galaxy's Edge. You're just going to be Disney tourists, maybe Disney fans going to Galaxy's Edge. So people are going to go to Galaxy's Edge here in Hollywood Studios. It'll probably, I think, eventually, as the crowds start to kind of adjust, I think it's going to be something along the lines, crowd-wise, of Avatar, you know, going to Pandora. Like, you can go to Pandora at night and it's not too crowded. You can ride Flight of Passage and only have to wait like 25 minutes in the evenings, late at night. I think Star Wars Land is going to be something like that people will go to Hollywood Studios. They're going to go to Galaxy's Edge because they bought the ticket. They're going to go there. But by the evening, later in the evening, it's just going to die off a little bit. I don't think it's going to draw in Disney Star Wars nerds, or Star Wars fans only. They're not going to race to Galaxy's Edge in Orlando. Yes, that's how I'm trying to say it. Star Wars fans are not going to race to Galaxy's Edge. Disney fans, which are a lot here in Orlando, diehard Disney fans, I don't care what Disney does, they're just going to love it because it's Disney. Hence, the pass holder previews are quite crowded. They're going to come to Galaxy's Edge, no doubt. Like Disney, Orlando locals, Disney nerds, Disney fans, they're coming to Galaxy's Edge. Star Wars nerds, Star Wars fans, I don't think they're racing to get here to Galaxy's Edge. This land, I just don't think is going to be enough. It doesn't offer enough, at least yet. It doesn't offer enough yet to draw people in that are not Disney fans or Disney nerds. December 5th, Rise of the Resistance opens. Maybe when Rise of the Resistance opens, that extra attraction, I don't know. I still don't know that that's going to draw in non-Disney nerds or non-Disney super fans. I don't know. I really feel like if you want to draw in Star Wars nerds and Star Wars super fans, like what Disney wants, they've got to figure out a way to incorporate somehow original trilogy characters, legacy characters, iconic characters into Galaxy's Edge somehow. And it's not that difficult in my opinion. I mean, to me, it could be something as simple as having Darth Vader really roaming Galaxy's Edge, or having Luke Skywalker roaming Galaxy's Edge, or having Han Solo appear somewhere in Smugglers Run. Something like, there's ways to incorporate these characters into these, I don't know about into the attractions, maybe I'm wrong with that, but into the land through meet and greets, I guess. Although some people I think are, I take that back. You guys like meet and greets. I'm not a big meet and greet fan. I hate waiting in line just to meet a character. I actually kind of like Galaxy's Edge style where they're just kind of roaming. However, I think roaming works when people don't know that that's a character, but when you have Darth Vader roaming and people know that's a character, that might not work as well. But either way, they have to figure out a way somehow to incorporate Star Wars legacy characters into Galaxy's Edge. Or I think ultimately Galaxy's Edge in Orlando is going to have a similar fate, I think, to Galaxy's Edge Anaheim. It's still going to be successful here, but it's not going to draw in Star Wars freaks or Star Wars fans. I don't see that happening. Not in the current situation, no, I don't see that happening. It'll draw in the Disney fans. Disney people will come because Disney people love anything Disney. But I don't see it I don't see it reaching way into that Star Wars community that they're trying to go after with this, if that's what they're trying to go after. Yeah, there's some subtle changes I think that can be done. Got to incorporate more of the original trilogy. Now, there's a lot of rumors going around that George Lucas still has, or he still gets royalties from these original trilogy characters. Hence, that's why Disney so quickly has killed off a lot of these original trilogy characters, and why they don't incorporate them into their movies, and why they're definitely not incorporated into Galaxy's Edge. Is that true? I don't know. We don't know. It's possible. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Why would Disney not want to include some of these big name legacy characters unless it's for financial reasons and they have to pay George Lucas money to incorporate them? And every time they sell a Darth Vader handbag, Lucas gets his cut. I don't know. So if there's an issue like that, I almost think like Disney should just come forward and just say there's a reason why we've had to move on from the legacy characters, including a Galaxy's Edge. It's for this reason. At least if people would know, they would feel better knowing like Disney's not intentionally like just doing this. But yeah, I know this rant turn, or I don't even want to call it a rant. This discussion probably went way too long. But that's my initial take on Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I'll end it with this. I believe if you are a diehard Disney fan, if you are a Disney World Disney fan, you love Disney movies, you love Disney, you're going to love Galaxy's Edge. If you are a casual Star Wars fan, you're going to have a great time at Galaxy's Edge. Casual. Someone that's not like invested in Star Wars lore and is not so like didn't grow up so much on Star Wars. I think you're still going to love Galaxy's Edge. It'll be a lot of fun to take your pictures and ride the new attraction and drink blue milk. That type of thing. It's a lot of Instagrammable pictures. A lot of it'll be fun for you if you're not a die-hard Star Wars fan. If you're casual, you're going to enjoy it. I do think, though, if you're a diehard Star Wars person, if you are really involved and invested in Star Wars lore and mythology, and you're going to find the flaws. I think you're going to find the same flaws that I probably found, and I think that's what people have been finding in California. I think maybe that has something to do with why it isn't drawing or has not drawn crowds and hasn't performed the way Disney expected it to. It'll be interesting to see. Does Disney react to that? Disney usually reacts. I mean, this isn't the first time Disney has opened a land or an attraction or built something and realized they had to go back in and make some tweaks and adjustments. So maybe we'll see some tweaks and adjustments. But anyway, this video has gone on way too long. So let me wrap this one up. Guys, if you're new to the channel, please do hit the subscribe button down below. I think it's on that side. I'm turned around this side. Yes, please hit the subscribe button down below. Yeah, subscribe, like, share, you know what to do. Let me know down in the comments, are you thinking the same thing with Galaxy's Edge? Remember, this is just my opinion. You don't have to kill me or anything. I'm just sharing my opinion from someone that's it's not that I'm not impressed with Galaxy's Edge. It's just that it's not what I was hoping for. I know these are, and I've said this before, these are first world problems. Like, I'm sure somebody on the other side of the earth is probably wondering, like, what is this guy talking about? They built like this cool thing. He can't even appreciate it. I appreciate what they built. I'm just trying to say these are the things that I have issues with it. So anyway, guys, that's a wrap. Have a good one. We'll see you next time. Bye. What's going on, guys? It's Steve, and I just want to take a few more seconds of your time to tell you about our website, mousesecrets.com. Your home for Disney matching shirts. Woo! Yeah, that's right. Like for your next Disney trip, if you want to have some really colorful, bright, fun t-shirts to wear at the Magic Kingdom at Epcot, then check out mousesecrets.com. Let's take a look at the website. I've got it pulled up right now. So you just come to our homepage, click on Disney World Vacation t-shirts, just like I'm doing right now, and it'll open up and you can see all the different designs we've got. We've got our Castle tie-dyes, Castle solid shirts, Castle multicolors. We've even got a US flag Castle shirt, which I think is just super cool. We've got our Raglan 3/4 sleeve shirts and all of our different designs listed. We even have Disney Cruise Line. But yeah, and now here's the cool thing. Our shirts are 10% off right now, so we are running a sale. And personalization is free. That's right, we'll personalize your shirts for no extra charge. We can add your name below the design. We can add your name to the back of the shirt across the upper back. We can do a family name like Michael's Family Vacation or Johnson Family Vacation. Whatever you would like to do. We can even do short phrases, you know, just married or celebrating an anniversary or something like that. Yes, we'll personalize a shirt and there's no charge for it. And it's very simple to do. All you do is pick the design that you like. So let's say, go with the red tie-dye like I'm wearing right now. So I would click on the Castle tie-dye. That'll open up just like it did. You'll see that it's 10% off. Select the size you want. So let's say you go with an adult small. Select your color. You can see all the different colors we've got. We've got a magical blue, a Frontierland orange, a Small World yellow, a Beastly green, Carsland pink, and like what I'm wearing right now in the video, Park Hopping red. So you would select the Park Hopping red and the size. Okay, then you come down here to this box and you enter your personalization that you want to appear on the shirt. So let's say you want to put Steve. You want to put Steve. You would just type Steve right into that block, and you can even type beside it Steve under, put Steve front of shirt under design, or Steve back of shirt, and that way we'll know where to add it. Also though, at checkout, there is a place where you can leave a note to the seller, which is us, and you can also type in that note to seller, please put the personalization on the back of the shirt, or please put the personalization underneath the design on the front of the shirt, and we'll get it taken care of for you. Or you don't have to have a personalization at all. A lot of people buy our shirts just as they are without personalizing them. But if you want to, you can, and there's no extra charge to do that. We're offering a special free personalization, and they're 10% off right now. So yeah, super, super cool, bright, colorful shirts like I'm wearing right now in the video. Adds a little extra magic to your Disney vacation and to your PhotoPass pictures. All right, guys, that's a wrap. Thanks a lot. Bye.